So here it is, my 21st I Survived book about the Galveston hurricane of 1900 that happened in Galveston, Texas. Galveston is this beautiful little city below Houston that's surrounded by water. On one side is the Galveston Bay, on the other side is the Gulf of Mexico. And in 1900, this fast-growing city, it was one of the richest cities in the world. And this city was on track to become one of the biggest, most important cities in all of Texas. There was only one problem with Galveston, which was it was surrounded by all this water, and it was very, very vulnerable to hurricanes. But in 1900, people didn't really understand storm science. They didn't understand things like hurricane threats. And so the city was continuing to grow. People didn't really think that anything could ever happen, that there could ever be a major hurricane strike in Galveston. And of course, weather experts were wrong. And in 1900, a very powerful storm hit Galveston. Basically, water swallowed up the entire city. And to this day, this is really kind of amazing to me. To this day, the Galveston hurricane of 1900 is the deadliest natural disaster ever to strike America. So this book actually grew out of a Storyworks article that I wrote back in 2018, a true story, a narrative nonfiction story about a boy named Harry Maxson, a real boy who actually had an incredible experience during the storm. He ended up rescuing many people. I wrote about Harry and I told about that terrifying night in September in 1900. And after the Storyworks story came out, I got lots of emails from Storyworks readers saying, Lauren, you've got to turn this into an I Survived book. And you know, that happens often. I love my readers so much because you guys give me the best ideas. So I decided to write the I Survived the Galveston hurricane of 1900. Of course, I had to do way more research now because this was an entire book. I went to Galveston. I got to look at that beautiful Gulf of Mexico. It was very haunting to stand there on the beach and try to imagine that day when the sea rose up. I really did hear the voices of the people that I read about in the History Center, where they have gathered hundreds of diaries and letters of people who lived through that day. So I'm very excited about this book. I can't wait for you guys to read it. You know, there's also something else special about this book. You know, kids who've read the I Survived series will notice that I write a lot about hurricanes in this story. I also write about other things, right? I also have to bring to life my character Charlie and his world. He has a grandfather who fought in the Texas Revolution, and the stories that his grandfather told are always in Charlie's mind. And Charlie has a passion. He has something he's fascinated by, just like you guys have things that you love to do, whether it's Legos or whether you love to play soccer or whether you love to read or play music or dance. Charlie was obsessed, like many kids in 1900, with magicians and magic tricks. Magicians back in 1900 were more famous than LeBron James is today, than your favorite YouTuber. Now you know how much work and time I put into I Survived, so seeing this book and knowing that it's going to be, in your hands makes me very, very happy.